Welcome back to Salty Spittoons TV. It's your commish, your co-commish. Say what's up, co-commish.
What's up to the people?
This is our final episode of Salty Spittoons TV for the year. A lot has happened ever. No, let's not hope ever, right? I mean, we got some more shows hopefully coming up next year. Hope you guys are enjoying these. I know this. I usually leave this to the end, but really, surveys are going out. Please give your feedback, especially on this show as well. If you guys are enjoying the content, please just
nothing to see here.
Nothing to see. Technical difficulties, but basically, there's a little section at the end for sharing some feedback. Also, have Spittoons TV noted. If you'd like to come on the show, put something on there as well. But let's start it all off. We're starting it off with our power rankings, which we've switched to tier-based rankings this week, just because I think it's important to note that at this point, everyone's reached the playoff. Everyone who's reached the playoffs has reached it. Some may be favored more likely to win than others. And I believe right now, in terms of tiers, you would have J Molly at the top, Savage and A Rojas in their next tier, and then myself, Little Chubb, and Diego in tier 3, with not too much discrepancy between them. I think right now Diego's hurting, Cool Kid's hurting, Little Chubb is also hurting in terms of his team. Yours and Savage's are a bit more solidified, and J Molly is only getting healthy. We'll explain more as to why that is later. But next up, notable waivers. Mike Evans for $11, man.
What a steal right now.
Steal. I had the same waiver claim at the same price. J Molly just sniped. Next move, Dav still making moves for Blake Corum. Diego getting himself some Kimani Vidal. Both running backs on the up and ups right now. Let's move on to the next section. Playoff primer. I'll let your co-commish speak to this a bit more. But basically, as you notice, that this is what the current playoff picture looks like. You got Savage and J Molly clinching that bye, with me against Diego in the first round, and then Little Chubb against A Rojas in the next round. We do have reseeding playoffs. So if for some reason the number 6 team beats the number 4 or the 3 team, they would be moved up to play against Savage. So that's kind of like, be on the lookout, especially for that. But I'll let you go explain a bit more on this playoff primer, especially regarding to this efficiency metric.
Yeah, so efficiency-wise, we were just curious to look at, is there something indicative about like how well these teams who make the playoffs are managing their lineups? We've done some comparisons with other leagues too, and this league has really high numbers. Even teams that didn't make the playoffs are all in like the mid to high 80s and 90s. So I think what we determined was a mixture of that. Is one, the bench size is tight, so because of that, obviously there's not a lot of room to miss if you're not starting certain guys. And then two, just credit where credit's due. You know, a lot of people are playing their quarterbacks in their super flex spot and not over complicating their lineup and getting the most out of the points that are on the table for them. That said, you do notice a little bit higher percentage for the teams that did make the playoffs. In particular, like J Molly is one who he's got the bye. He's got one of the highest efficiency ratings, so he's been doing a great job of managing his lineup. I've got the highest one. I will say I also just didn't have shit at receiver. So like I couldn't miss 2 quarterback slots a week. I never got wrong because I only have 2 playable. And then at receiver, I also only have like 2 playable. So probably a little bit of bias there, but I'll at least give myself enough credit to have picked the receivers enough.
The correct ones, yeah.
To make my playoff push. But but yeah, so that's something we were just checking. Is there an edge there? Seemingly no. Seemingly all the guys who are in the playoffs are doing a pretty good job of managing your lineup. And then secondly, with bracketology, we're just looking at historically, has there been a seed advantage where if you're ranked a certain place in the bracket, will you perform better? And so on and so forth. So in this case, for example, the 4 seed has gone on to win one of the 5 championships where we got to the 20%. And actually, the 4 seed wins 60% of the time in league history. So favorable position to be in against the lower seeded 5 seed. Surprisingly, well, not too surprisingly, but the 6 seed actually fares a little better than you might expect. They get 40% of the win rate, and these are in round 1, mind you guys. So the 6 seed is able to win in round 1 40% of the time, and we've actually had a champion come from the 6 seed as well. That would have been your commish, who did that. And then the 3 seed again holds the advantage, so they win 60% of the time and have also had a champion. The only seed we've never had a champion come out of is our number 1 ranked Jay Moley's 2 seed. We've never had a champion emerge from the 2 seed. And the 5 seed has been able to mount 40% of wins. And they also had I know I missed the 20% on the slide, but they won one too. So yeah, so overall, you pretty much wherever you're seated, it looks like you've got a chance. If you've got the higher seed, you've got a little bit of a edge in that case. And if you're the 2 seed, you won't win this year. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Yeah. Sorry to tell you, this is shit out of luck.
Didn't want to break it to you this way, but here we are.
Finally, matchups and pick'ems. The 2 that are currently going on for the shit bowl are Rick and Rookie, Culero and Tex Mexana. The people waiting in the that got the bye are going to be Travis and Mezcal Papi. You don't want to be in that bye. That's the only bye you don't want. Yeah. But for now, just gonna give a brief overview.
You don't want to be in the 2 either. So there's only one good bye.
So I'll let you break down the drunk Rick and the rookie matchup. Unfortunately, Rookie just barely missed the playoffs. I know Rick, and it's unfortunate because these 2 teams really, they were there. They were in the playoff conversation.
Yeah, they're 2 teams that obviously you don't have to look far to find good players on these teams, right? Like on the rookie side, JSN and CeeDee Lamb, full stop. Those are 2 of the best players you could be playing this year. He just had other issues, like for example, Jaden Daniels is cost him this year. Jaden Daniels is going to miss this game. And when I look at Daniels and why that matters is because you're playing Kirk Cousins in theory. Let's see, he's right now, as of recording this, he's not in the lineup. So we'll see if he puts him in tomorrow before the Tampa Bay Atlanta game starts. But if he does, here's what I'm interested in is that Tampa Bay defense is actually, 1, really good against the run, and 2, because of that, allow a ton of yards in the passing game. And that's across all positions, tight ends and receivers. So you just wonder, is Kirk going to be able to take advantage in a juicy matchup, and is Rookie going to put him in the lineup? That's the 2 things I'm looking at with that Jaden Daniels injury. And then on the flip side, if I'm looking at Rick's team, right? I mean, again, you don't have to look far for great players. We've got Devontae Adams, who's been the steal of the year, in my opinion. And we've got Schmitty, Purdy, guys who are back in the lineup, back doing things. And what I would be interested in is how does Juwan Johnson fare? Because it's normally a spot that Michael Pittman Jr. is occupied. But with the Daniel Jones injury, who's torn his Achilles, right now he's got Michael Pittman Jr. on the bench. And Seattle's one of the best defenses in the league. So, I mean, between the matchup and the new quarterback, I get not playing him. But that said, we're leaning a little bit with Drunk Rick still. And a couple of the factors that kind of put us that way are going to be this Smitty matchup, right? So Schmitty's going against Las Vegas, who, according to my last notes, was one of the worst 6 teams when it comes to allowing yardage to the wide receiver position. So Schmidt's got a super matchup this week and could be the difference in swinging that lineup. And then on the flip side, when we're looking at, I already got Kirk Cousins. Yeah. So I already talked about Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, Devon Vele was somebody we thought in relief of Rashid Shaheed would have some good production, but he only had 3 catches last game. So you're just wondering if at those flex positions, that edge is too much to overcome for rookie. So we're going with Drunkard there.
Next matchup, we're looking at Coolero and Tex-Mex Anna. We have Tex-Mex Anna winning in that one. To me, they're fairly evenly matched. You got Saquon on one end with Jonathan Taylor on the other end. You have Bijan Robinson and I believe Regal Dowdle. Unfortunately, he's been on the not so up and up, right? At least in terms of like his production, just because who's actually getting the running back splits there. But fairly evenly matched. Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. I unfortunately thought I would love the Justin Jefferson matchup against Xavier Worthy, and especially against the Cowboys too, who, I mean, their defense is stacked, but I mean, any game could be a high-scoring affair. Nico
and they're
Collins,
struggling against the pass.
Yeah, they're struggling against the pass. And then Coolero's team may take a big hit with Mark Andrews not performing, assuming Lamar Jackson isn't going to be playing. And then Christian Watson on the up and up. Unfortunately, she's against Denver's defense, which is going to be tough, especially assuming Surtain's going to be on him. That'll be an interesting affair to watch there. And that's about it. I think she also has Hunter Henry that she could sub in for, like a Jacoby, like a Muth. That's kind of what I was banking on, that Henry kind of comes in and becomes that lead wide receiver for the Patriots offense. Anything else to note of here that I might have missed? It does help that Jamar Chase is not going to have T. Higgins playing, so maybe he'll kind of get a bit more points, but Nico's also doing well against and it'll be against the Arizona Cardinals, so that might just be a push there. So
to me, it's just, and I've always been on the analytics side of this, always play your 2 quarterbacks, and right now she's got McCarthy on the bench. So if he's in the lineup, I think we're all systems go. We're still Tex-Mex on it. If he stays on the bench, there's some upset potential.
Yeah, it'll be tough. Yeah, it'll be tough to get back.
All right, so then I've got the matchup with our commish against Diego. So which Diego snuck in. He did what he needed to do.
By the skin of his teeth.
So when we're looking at Commish's team, I mean, nasty team, right? Like CMC, George Pickens, Trey McBride. I don't even got to go over the team. The team's dogs. When we're looking at the other side, Diego, who has made quite a bit of trades this year, and we're seeing some of these players round into form. Not that he traded for Jalen Waddle, but somebody who at the beginning of the year maybe didn't have the promise that he's delivering on now. ETN's been turning it around. So you've seen this team turn it to one that is good enough to make the playoffs, which, props to him. What I'm focusing on in this matchup is actually that Higgins concussion. If he makes it through the protocol, all systems go. He was on pace to score above 30 fantasy points this last matchup and his first one back with Joe Burrow. And I don't see why that would stop against Baltimore. So if he's got Higgins, that'll be a great one to slide in. Without Higgins, you go down to QJ. That Chargers passing protection is just terrible right now. We just saw what Chris Jones did to the Texans. What's he going to do to the Chargers offensive line? So you wonder if that's the case, is QJ going to be able to get those deeper developing routes going? That's a big swing on just one position. And then for Diego, the one I'm interested in is Marv, because without Marv in the lineup, he's going to have to turn to somebody else who doesn't it's probably not a full-time player. Maybe Kamani Vidal, maybe Tajay Spears, and so I'm worried about that. Marvin Harrison, before he went out again from the last game with an injury, was on 7 targets and just over a half of work. So he was cooking. The way that Michael Wilson's cooking, Marv was ready to cook too. So if Marv's not in the game, that's tough for Diego. Ultimately, we're leaning towards Kamish on this one, and something that I think is interesting to note is Jordan Love has been cooking for Diego, but he's going against a defense who's number 1 in sacks, number 1 in quarterback hits, and is top 5 in pressure rate. So you just feel like you wonder, is Love going to have time to sit back and read all those progressions to hit those deep shots he's been hitting lately, or if that's going to be ultimately his undoing this week, is just not getting enough out of Jordan Love. And if CD doesn't play, that even favors George Pickens on the commission side. So things to watch out for in that matchup.
And then finally, we got Tony Jakokamish against Little Chubb, who's got Josh Allen and a bum-ass Jalen Hurts. Does he repeat? Dude, this is his redemption game against Las Vegas. You know, like it just you can almost say that Little Chubb has the advantage here, but no, we have Tony winning. Why? I just think your team's a bit more complete. Devon Achane, Bucky Irving. We'll monitor that injury with Achane.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's just like a little rib contusion where he hit himself on the ball.
Le bruise.
Yeah. McMillan doing well. Higgins coming into his own. Kittle, Purdy's favorite target. And then you got a Tony Pollard who, went off last week. And then Jackson Dart, we'll see what happens there. That's the scary one for me because I'm heavy on Dart, especially in my Dynasty League. And he scares me. He could go for 25 points or go into concussion protocol in the first play. That's the fear there. But assuming that he's going to do well, we can see that why your team is, I guess, projected to win here, especially because you have a Kyron Williams who hasn't been performing as well and against a stout Detroit defense. It comes down to matchups, right? You have Quinshon Judkins against Chicago, which is a bit better matchup, but just the Browns haven't been able to run as efficiently, especially with Shador slinging it. And then you got Judy, who has been the receiver on that end, but it kind of comes down to whether Shador can make that 60-yard bomb to Jared Judy to get open. And then finally, again, Jalen Hurts redemption game. And then Josh Allen against New England should be a fun affair. I think the Bills are fighting for their lives for playoff contention here, and it should be a good matchup. He's got you in terms of the quarterback matchups, but the rest of his team kind of has a lot of question marks in terms of production. So that's why we want to hear you. Anything else? Any other statistics you want to bring up here?
Yeah, Josh Allen, scientists have found, is 100% dog. So I am scared. I think he set a record for like player who has made 6 touchdowns in a game, like more than anyone else. Like I look across the field and that's the one that I'm like, dude, if I lose, it's going to be. It's not going to be.
You just never know. He could score like 45.
But I could totally see it being Josh Allen is going to drop 40 on me, and I'm going to be like, well, fuck, I did what I could do. But couldn't beat Josh this week.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm scared of.
Little Chubb. But, yeah, that's about it. That's our last episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any final words for the crew?
Yeah. Just we had a lot of fun recording this year. I think a lot more than last year too, transparently. Like last year we were like, kind of like over it. This year I think we got a little bit of that spark back. So we'll look forward to next year. And what would be really nice is if you guys had any ideas or suggestions for the videos to add them to the survey, like Kamish said, and do the surveys too, like in the first place.
Yeah,
like,
please.
Fill them out. But whatever you guys
really
want to see.
It's really going to be helpful. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, like, subscribe, follow. Happy holidays. and Happy New Year.
Cool. Peace.
Peace.